Good afternoon, folks from the flight deck. This is First Officer Nuela. I'd like all of you to turn your attention to the video monitors in front of you so you can watch me slash the water. And thanks again for flying extra mediocre.
Christof here, your favorite 787 pilot for another ski review. The ski we're talking about today is the sexy racing Ferrari red Armada Locator 112 backcountry touring ski. This is my powder ski this year. A ski that I take out when it's deep. And this year in the Wasatch, we have had many, many deep days, and I've been able to put some great mileage and vert on this setup. Multiple 5,000 and 6,000 foot powder days, and we're not talking low angle kind of powder shots, but some good hard charging, deep snow, fun stuff. Danny's gonna show you some majestic footage of me breaking all the middle-aged man molds and showing my daughters that I am a cool dad. Let's dive in here and get to the meat of what this ski is. So, as we said, Locator 112, it's a 112 millimeter waisted powder ski. 24 meter radius, so that's on the larger side of ski radius. I've found that once we get into these wide powder skis, the radius doesn't make a huge difference as much as kind of the rocker shape and just the fact that if you are skiing this in powder, you just want it to be surfy, you want it to float, you want to be able to, charge. For comparison, like the DPS Pagoda 112 has a 15 meter radius, but it is notorious for being a very turny ski. And I've found that in the powder skis, especially at this width, that radius, especially once it gets longer, 20, 21, like this, 24 meters, it doesn't feel like it's hard to turn because it is such a rockered, wide, surfy type ski. For me, the Armada Locator is kind of like the poor man's Pagoda, meaning comparing it to the DPS Pagoda Tour 112, this is a much more approachable price point. I believe they retail for like $800 versus $1,200 or $1,300 a pair for the Pagodas, with a lot of the same characteristics, meaning a very damp, stable. I would compare this to DPS's C2 shaping in that it's a little more directional, so you can charge a little higher speed. Danny made the comment that when he was watching some footage of, I think some drone footage of me skiing these, that I noticeably just kind of charged a little bit harder when I was on these. And I felt that. I felt confident, like I could really just open it up. There wasn't any floppiness, there wasn't any skittish, turniness. I did not feel that kind of carbon plankiness that sometimes you get with ultralight touring skis. It just felt very, very solid on my foot, but it also felt like I could surf it. I could make those big, wide, slarvy turns, Danny's favorite word, slarvy, and it held up. It felt great. On this package, I put the old, I guess, previous edition of the Hagan Core 12 binding. This one has the stomp pad. It's a little different than their newer one. Doesn't have the integrated brake with the stomp pad. And I did have to add a little toe shim because the boot I use with this is the awesome Dynafit Radical Pro. And for some reason, the heel on the Radical Pro it had a little bit extra rubber, so that without that shim, it just couldn't, even with that spacer all the way to its lowest setting, it was just rubbing, there's too much friction there. So if we found is just by putting this little shim under the toe, it raised everything up just enough that now it fits perfect. For all you guys that nerd out on ramp angles, it made the ramp angle a little bit flatter, which for me is usually a good thing. I don't do well with super steep ramp angles on my bindings. So overall, it was a better situation. The only downside is, yeah, the plate adds probably, I don't know, 30 grams per ski. And let's talk about the weight of these skis. 1,590 grams per ski. And I have to have a cheat sheet for this. That is 3 pounds, 8 ounces, 3.5 pounds per ski. Let's compare that to some other skis. The Pagoda Tour 112, the DPS ski we were talking about, in a 178, this is a 180. So the Pagoda Tour in a 178, 2 centimeters shorter, 1,560 grams. So you could probably say they're actually the same weight of ski. Like if the Pagoda was a 180 like this, it would probably weigh almost identical. So weights are just about the same. This powder ski I skied last year, the Volet Hyper V8, was like 1,480 grams, much lighter. But that's about the only thing that I like better about the Hyper V8 than these skis is the weight. I like how these skied, felt. The performance, I guess, was noticeable versus the Hyper V8, which is an awesome ski. For its weight, I don't think there's anything better. So all together, skis and bindings, both skis, you know, this setup is about 8.5 pounds or maybe like 3,900 grams total. And for me, that's a pretty good situation, you know, good number for a true like powder touring ski setup, especially one like this where with a Radical Pro type boot, we're talking like a 1,450 gram boot, you jump on this and I mean, that's all I need. I do not ski hard enough to warrant putting anything heavier or any beefier boot on any of my touring setups. So again, this is a 180. I'm 5'10", maybe 5'11", somewhere between there. 170-ish pounds when I'm on keto. Any longer than that, and I just struggle with kick turns. Any shorter than that, I feel like the ski is too short. So 180, 181 is ideal. That's one reason I chose this ski this year, is because it kind of checked all the boxes. I wanted at least 110 on the width. I wanted like at least 178, but preferably like 180 on the length. Just to round out the whole package here, as far as skins go, I opted, as I usually do, for the pre-cut Armada skin, which is made by one of the major manufacturers. It's either Kola or Contour. It's not Pomoka, but some, you know, mohair nylon mix, pre-cut to the dimensions, which satisfies my laziness. They were thin enough. They weren't like overly bulky. They weren't super light like the Pomoka Free Pros, but light enough that it wasn't an issue. And I thought they worked very, very well. There you have it. This is the Armada Locator 112. I give it 2 thumbs up. Highly recommend. It looks good. We all know when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you ski good. And when you ski good, life is good.